So it was only a couple of days ago that I made the video about the Power Rangers brand and how there's a partnership ending, and now the future for Power Rangers on live action TV is in major doubt and in question. But today we're going to be talking about the new movie that is in development. We know it's going to be a reboot of sorts, and now we have some details on what direction they're taking with multiple aspects of it. So first up, obviously it's a rumor till it's 100% confirmed by the studio. Take it with a grain of salt. But of course, this is following up the Illuminerd's previous article, which I just talked about the future of Power Rangers. And now we have more details on what exactly they're looking to do. So first up, let's talk about the Ranger team, which might not be limited to 5 Rangers. It could be less, which we've seen in other Power Ranger series, or it could be more, but they do want to include an original lineup of heroes. Now, speaking of an original lineup of heroes, they're going to be looking at a diverse cast for the new reboot, which they say will include different races and members of the LGBTQ+ community. And to add to that, apparently right now the plan is to have a female lead in the cast. Now, I'm not sure if this is meaning like the female is going to be the Red Ranger leader, or if they're just going to focus it from her point of view. But then again, I think those would both converge to be the same meaning, and if that's the case, fine. I mean, sure. It's about the team aspect, and if the leader's female, fine. Now let's go to the other big thing that's kind of sending ripples through the community and people talking about it. And I've mostly seen this talked about in some very vocal people's opinions. That's about the LGBTQ+ community being more represented. And I saw some people get up in arms over Power Rangers going diverse and starting to say some things. And I'm just sitting back going, that's literally what Power Rangers has always been. Yeah, in the first couple seasons, it was a little on the nose that, there's the nerd, and the black kid does the dancing, right? It was on the nose, but it was in the 90s. And subsequently, every series that continued, they still were always a very diverse cast. So I don't really see any issues to that here. Now, obviously, I don't think they're going to make it the entire plot of the film. I think that's what some people are worried. The entire plot of the film is not going to be about that. It's still going to be Power Rangers. They just want to get more voices into the film for, having the sake to include more variety. Again, I have no problem with this. I've made that very clear on this channel. Now, along with that, the next piece of casting would be the villain, who is apparently going to be Lord Zedd. And they are going to feature several different looks for Power Ranger suits that they're, amalgamating from the history of Power Rangers. And they're looking to shoot in New Zealand, where the show is normally shot. So, again, this is a lot to go by. Lord Zedd would kind of make sense. You already did Rita in the most recent reboot. And since this is a reboot of that, you probably don't want to do Rita again. So ignore that, go to Zedd. He has a cool look, cool aesthetic. He's one of the most well-known Power Rangers villains. And his look, which, they don't even really need to update, still stands the test of time, is one of the coolest villains in my opinion. So again, I think that makes sense. New Zealand, fine. We know you can get good tax write-offs, and it's cheap to shoot there if you already have production there. So that's cool. Overall, I don't think I have too much negative to say about any of this. Everything's sounding like they're really trying to focus on, a new Power Rangers, which I think as a Power Rangers fan is exactly what you want. Maybe I could be wrong. I don't know. You can tell me in the comments, but this all sounds good to me, honestly.